For someone who has as much coordination to play the drums as a 3-year-old toddler, I do talk about drum fills quite often. And I'm going to again because when it comes to my latest release song, A Wizard's Gamble, which you can and should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at, when I was sharing files with some of my musician friends, one of them, a drummer obviously, came back to me and was like, hey bro, nice song, but that drum fill in the beginning is quite chaotic. Don't get me wrong, it's not one of those unplayable things that guitar players program and then drummers have to figure it out, but it's just a little bit crazy, like what time signature is that? And on one hand, I was quite proud to mess with the brain of a percussionist. I mean, who thought that caveman drummers had to count to 4, and even that is already a bit of a stretch. But jokes aside, when I responded to him, I was basically like, hey man, it's nice that you enjoyed the song, but honestly, I wasn't thinking of a time signature. I had this groove on my mind that just made sense. You don't really have to follow any rules necessarily. If it works for you, like you know where it starts and you know where it ends, and it makes it so that you can always enter into the next section, then it just kind of works, right? I am one of those dudes that always likes to figure out what time signature he's playing in. Like I don't just play a riff for feel. I always like to notate it down and figure it out. But in the case of that fill, I was just playing around, thought of it, programmed it, and it was it. Especially because most of my songs don't usually start with drum fills, and I kind of wanted to have at least one song that would start with the drums, they do a crazy fill, then we all come in. In the context of the song, said drum fill sounds like this. Do you have a specific approach to drum grooves or drum fills, or do you just play it as you feel it? Let me know. And while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day about said songs. So if you like this one, I'm sure you'll like the other ones. And don't forget to share them with another friend who might also enjoy them. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest release song, A Wizard's Gamble, anywhere you listen to your music at. Thank you so much for your support, it really means a lot and I can only hope to see you in another video. But until then, cheers! I was never afraid of music theory. I was actually one of those kids that would hear someone talk about some sort of theoretical concept like modes, functional harmony, or symmetrical scales, and would actually be curious to figure out what it is and how to use it, rather than be haunted by the idea of an older musician telling me to play that and me not knowing what it was. In conversations with older musicians, most of them say that the reason that they don't really know music theory is because back in the day there was no internet and easy access to information to actually learn those things, and although I do agree that's not an argument for right now, but what is an argument is that you shouldn't just learn what that theory means. You should actually try to apply it so that it enters your vocabulary. For instance, when it comes to symmetrical scales, which is a scale that follows a specific pattern, the most known one is probably the whole tone half tone scale, which is an octatonic diminished scale, and at first I thought you would just use it over diminished chords, which is what you do, but there are other uses for it, like playing it over non-diminished chords and spice up your sound a little bit. And as soon as I learned some of those diminished scale shapes, I quickly figured out some licks that I thought sounded cool. But then there was the less spoken brother of those symmetrical scales, which is the augmented scale of the whole tone scale, where, as the name implies, you just play whole tone after whole tone. If you start in C, you'd have C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, then you come back to a C. It's complicated because we usually count our scales with 7 notes, and then we have a specific name for each note. With symmetrical scales, it's a little bit more complicated. But regardless of that, unlike with the diminished scales, where I quickly figured out some ways to use it, with the whole tone scale, I did figure out, like, okay, you can probably play it over a major chord, like a dominant 7th chord, and it works. It gives you a very outside sound, but it works. But when it came to songwriting, unlike other symmetrical scales, like the diminished scales, I always struggled to figure out a way to apply this scale. Until I was working on my latest release song, A Wizard's Gamble, which, if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at. That song is played in standard tuning, but you take your 6th string and you drop it down to a C note. And even though you don't technically need to, having that low C kind of puts you in the key of C. So I was just playing around with a C chord. And I started looking at it and I was like, okay, I have a C, an E, and a G, right? But if I raise it up to do that like at 9 sort of a thing, I get the beginning of a C major scale, but I also get the beginning of the whole tone scale. And if I keep going another whole tone, I kind of get that Lydian sound, which is a major scale, but with a sharp 4. And the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I can do like an add 9 chord, then do like a sharp 11 chord. And if I keep going another tone, I'll then actually be playing the whole tone scale. I can just move from like having a major chord with a sharp 11, then something like an augmented-ish chord, or like a major chord with a flat 13. And this might all be like theoretical craziness for you, but in my head it just made sense and it was sounding kind of cool. Well, I know that's debatable and subjective, but to me it sounded cool. And it became a cool climb up to use in the song. Actually, in the context of the song, it sounds like this. Which became even cooler because later on in the song I actually do the same sequence but descending. Which also became a super cool transition between riffs and song sections that also leaves the listener wondering what they just listened to because they were expecting to hear one chord progression and they heard it reversed, which sounds similar and definitely itches that part of your brain wondering like, ooh, a bit unexpected and different but also familiar, which in my opinion also makes you keep wanting to listening to the song. Have you worked with the whole tone scale very often? Let me know. And while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day about said songs. So if you enjoyed this one, you'll probably enjoy the next ones too. Don't forget to share them with a friend who may also like them. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest release song, A Wizard's Gamble, anywhere you listen to your music at. And thank you so very much for watching, it really means a lot and I can only hope to see you in another video. But until then, cheers! A songwriting tip that most people don't really talk about is that you should keep in mind the tempo that the song is going to be in while working on parts and riffs. Otherwise, you might end up in a situation like I did in my latest released song, A Wizard's Gamble, which you can and should go check out anywhere to listen to your music at. I figured out some of the riffs to the song, I then went to bed, and on the next day I went back to working on the song, and while just messing around and figuring out some different shapes, I figured out this riff. It did sound super cool and did match the vibe that I was looking for the song. So when I was putting all the riffs together to figure out how the song would sound, the tempo was just completely off. And I ended up in this awkward stage where if I played the riff within the tempo of the song, it just became super slow. It lost a little bit of that spooky vibe, but it became more mysterious. But if I then played it with half of the tempo subdivisions, effectively at twice the speed, it became really chaotic. I just couldn't use it in the tempo that I originally imagined. And as I was about to quit, I then thought to myself, to me the main riff of the song has a lot of that pumped up adrenaline vibe, and some of the other riffs sound a little bit more epic and mystic, but in my opinion, if I just kept the whole song going like that for its entire duration, it would just get boring. So, like any fantasy story worthy of being named A Wizard's Gamble, you do need that epic adventure vibe, but sometimes you do need some mystery into it, and you do need it to become a little bit more chaotic. So why not go for that storytelling angle and think about what the song actually needs? It might not have the same vibe as before, but what if I just stick with it anyway? If it needs that mysterious vibe, maybe we can just play that riff slower and accommodate it to the song. Or play it faster if we need that chaotic vibe. Surprisingly, the song actually needed both, but it also became a little bit of a struggle because to play one riff slower is a thing, but to play it fast, like almost twice the speed fast, that made me approach the riff completely differently. Even though I was able to record it in one take, to me it sounds super cool, it was hard as hell. Has this been the sort of thing that you've worked on, trying to get a riff down and then playing it at multiple speeds in the same song? Let me know. And in case it wasn't obvious already, don't forget to go check out my latest released song, A Wizard's Gamble, anywhere you listen to your music at. While you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day about said songs. If you like this one, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other ones. Thank you so much for watching, it really means a lot and I can only hope to see you in another video, but until then, cheers! I've talked plenty about alternate tunings and how they can inspire new riffs and different ideas, and the more different tunings you try, not only do you get more comfortable around the guitar and hopping between these different tunings, but it might also spark some more different ideas that you probably wouldn't have figured out if you hadn't tried that tuning. But sometimes going back to an alternate tuning that you've already tried can be pretty cool to figure out some new riffs, because you kind of already have a little bit of vocabulary within that tuning. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to stay within the vibe of the previous song or riffs that you were working on. Like within the case of my latest release song, A Wizard's Gamble, which if you haven't, you should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at. I was actually looking back to an older song of mine called Land of the Hooded, where I kept my guitar in standard tuning, but I then took the 6th string and tuned it down to a C, which is a little bit of an easier alternate tuning because all of your shapes in the first 5 strings stay the same, but you get to have a low C on it. Obviously, it's been popularized by Neon, by John Mayer, but if you look back on some of my videos about the previous mentioned song Land of the Hooded, you'll get to learn how I stumbled on this tuning and why I kept working on riffs on it. The old song Land of the Hooded and the new song A Wizard's Gamble are kind of more metal-ish riff-based songs. The low C kind of gives it a more thicker and denser sound, maybe puts you in the mood for more metal-ish stuff. But even then, these two songs with the same tuning and the same sort of metal-ish, riff-ish vibe sound nothing alike. Land of the Hooded is a more Phrygian-y, Arabic-ish sounding song, while A Wizard's Gamble does feature more that sharp 11th Lydian sound with some modal interchange here and there. Even though they're in the same sort of vibe, they're completely different songs. But the names are inspired by one another. Here's a warning for the incoming nerddom. Land of the Hooded was named after the teaser for Elder Scrolls 6, which at the time the theories were that it might be based on Hammerfell, where some of the characters wear these hoods around their face because they're in the desert. But around the time I was working on A Wizard's Gamble, there was a theory circling that it might be about High Rock, where the Bretons, who are known for being more magic-based, actually originate from. And so because that Lydian sound that is featured throughout the song has a little bit of a more whimsical and magical vibe, I was using the same song as Land of the Hooded, I thought to myself, why not name the song again after an Elder Scrolls 6 reference? But because even now, years on later, we don't really know if it is High Rock or Hammerfell, we would just be betting on it. It's just a gamble. Maybe a wizard's gamble. You get the pun now? I hope you appreciate it. If it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest release song, A Wizard's Gamble, anywhere you listen to your music at. And while you're at it, check out Land of the Hooded too. Let me know what you think of those songs. And also let me know if you're hyped for Elder Scrolls 6 and if you think it's going to be Hammerfell or High Rock. While you're at it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week, and I'm releasing daily videos twice a day about said songs. If you like this one, I'm sure you'll like the other one. And don't forget to share them with a friend that might enjoy them too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video, but until then, cheers! When it comes to songwriting, you always want to keep your listener interested, otherwise they're gonna stop listening to your song. But at the same time, you also want to be unexpected and surprise them. After all, if you don't sneak something into your song that is at least a little bit different than what they were listening to already, they might get bored or start predicting every note that comes around and just move on to another song. We could get into a whole argument about social media and brain rot and all those things, but putting that aside, every single song out there that means something to you probably did that too. And in the case of my latest released song, A Wizard's Gamble, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere to listen to your music at, there are a couple of sections, and after this like breakdown bridge-ish section, I was kind of unsure if I should go back to the main riff or if I should just move to the chorus. And even though I wasn't quite sure which one I should choose, I figured that the listener would probably assume that the song would end either after that chorus or either after that main riff. And that's when I thought to myself, what if instead of playing the main riff completely, what if I play half of the chorus riff and they expect me to just progress with the chorus, I go back to the main riff. And then I do the same thing with the main riff, maybe I'll shorten it up a little bit, then go back to the chorus. Almost like there's a little bit of an intermission there. And sure, you can argue that maybe it makes no difference or that it just makes the song bigger and therefore more unlistenable to a mainstream audience, but I don't really care. I thought that 1, it was cool, and 2, it was definitely unexpected and something that I then did on other songs, but at that point it was the first time I ever experimented with it. In the context of the song, it sounds something like this, but it would make more sense for you to listen to the whole song to really feel the vibe of it. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest released song, A Wizard's Gamble, anywhere you listen to your music at. And while you're at it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week, and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day about said songs. So if you like this one, I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy the other ones too. And don't forget to share them with a friend who might also enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching. I can only hope to see you in another video, but until then, cheers! The reception to these songs and videos has been amazing, and I can only thank you so much for your support, but I hope you stick along because we're just getting started. Every week I'm releasing a new song and daily videos twice a day about said song. If you enjoyed these videos, you leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, perhaps even share it with a friend of yours who might also enjoy these videos, and I can only hope to see you in the next one. But until then, cheers!